Family Matters won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is
For the Stepdads.
Oh, yeah, merry old stepdads are stuffed full of turkey and stuffing.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. I would say pull up a beer, but I'm gonna have coffee instead.
Yeah, no, too full for beer.
Too full for beer. Oh, the idea of beer just makes me want to vomit.
It was great, though. You did an amazing job.
Yeah. It's too bad that I burned the turkey.
Yes, well, you did try to deep fry it this time. And
Look, we have a balcony. I thought it'd be okay.
yeah, well, it blew up, and we're doing this. Adam is in jail. So if you hear, you're getting a call from the Chino Correctional Facility, just know that that's just Adam.
Hey, hurry up! I'm gonna use the phone too.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, good acting.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's why you went to Juilliard, my friend.
Yeah, that's right. No, Juilliard. It was a Peter Juilliard school.
Yeah.
It was down South L.A.
Yeah. He was in North Hollywood, in his basement.
Man, well, it's good that we're doing epic comedy right now, Jim, because it was a fun month.
It was great, and it was a long month. Like
I feel like we've been doing this month for like 8 years.
I do too. Mad World seems like
Got that? Yeah.
it was literally a different world when we did.
I mean, technically,
when we
yes.
did that
yes.
show. But what an amazing month! You know, reconnecting with a lot of these old comedies, and especially Mad World. Which look,
Yeah.
it hasn't been that long since I've seen it. That's a staple of my viewing.
It's the preeminent comedy.
Well, I always say, in my opinion, it's the best comedy.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Hey, Blues Brothers," and I love Blues Brothers, and I love all these other comedies, but pound for pound,
Yeah.
laugh for laugh,
Yeah.
a 3.5-hour comedy is the hardest thing I can think of to produce.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one that is a masterpiece and with amazing pacing that never bores you.
Yeah.
Like a 3.5-hour comedy with no dead moments.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, it's hard enough. Most comedies try to get to 90 minutes and have a hard time, and they're usually not very good.
Well, I think one of the main factors of how good it is you had a really competitive cast.
Yeah.
You had all these old vaudevillians and these old-timey comedians that are
so insecure and needed the spotlight all the time.
I'm making sure I'm the last one in the frame. But I think that group of people were so friendly competitive.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it wasn't,
mean-spirited or
no
anything.
mean.
But I think they all were like, look, we all have to bring our A+++ game because none of us want to look like the boner in the funniest comedy ever. So nobody, shuffled the way through it. Nobody mumbled their way through it.
Yeah.
Everybody, from the biggest star to the smallest part.
Oh, everybody.
Perfection. And
and
the rest of the month kind of shows that can never be replicated. Unfortunately.
No. It can come close. But
And not to say that these movies were bad.
No, not at all.
I enjoyed every single one. I had not seen The Magnificent Man, The Flying Machines, blobbity bloobity bloop.
Long
Super
ass
long
title. Yeah.
In, decades, probably since I was 8 or 9.
I had never seen it, and it was super fun.
It was really fun. And seeing Benny Hill and James Fox and all these great older actors. And Sarah Miles.
Yes,
Sarah
thank
Miles.
you. Hey, good job.
Remember
Gold
the name.
star.
Oh, my God, my dementia is
The funny thing
fading.
is I can't think of the gap tooth guy. Tony Thomas? No, Tony, what's his name? Tom Thomas? Tom?
Yes,
Yeah. I just can't think of his
something
name.
now, yes. Damn it. But
His name had a dash in it.
But you know whose name I do remember? Gert Fruber.
Oh, yeah. Grusa. Yeah.
Gert Fruber, wasn't that his name?
Fruba. Yeah.
I guess I didn't remember his name.
Fruba. You're right.
But if any other reason to watch that movie, watch it for watching Goldfinger be the biggest goon on the planet. So funny.
It's a really fun movie.
Very fun movie. It's not as fast-paced. It's the English version.
Yeah,
Take their time,
yeah.
have your tea, and just let it go over you.
But also, again, much like Mad World, friendly competition.
Terry Thomas, right?
Terry Thomas. There you go. Thank you.
I got the names today, baby.
friendly competition. No one was being really mean-spirited to each other. It was when they had to help each other, they did.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too except for Scavenger Hunt, but with Scavenger Hunt too.
They do that. Yeah.
Like in every one of these movies, all of the competitors at one point come together against another foe or an outside
common
force.
enemy. Yeah.
I don't know if Mad World really did it.
No, not in the movie. I mean, that was more, and maybe that's why it was so successful, because it was the behind the scenes that was competitive and not on screen.
Well, it was also more of a character study. It was more of an experiment, a thought film. What would happen if everyday normal Americans were all of a sudden given this opportunity to be instantly rich?
Right.
For nothing, except for a drive and a shovel, So what happens? And I think that was the brilliance of it. That conceit just led to...
Yeah, it was great. It was just paced so well.
Right.
But they did. Technically, when they all got to the big W, they were all helping each other, and they were trying to figure out how to split the money up.
God, that was the best. All right, we got 4 different cars. It was just the instead of just
you get 5 shares, and they get 7 shares, and
it was insane. Anyway, so that movie was incredible, and Flying Machines was really fun. Scavenger Hunt was the one I was the most worried about because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid.
Definitely I'm going to say my least favorite of the 4 because it was good. It was fun. I mean...
It was the thinnest of them all.
It was thinnest. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
It was very much of its time.
Yeah.
Especially with the actors. You got your Dirk Benedicts and your
Willie Ames.
Your Willie Ames. You got your 8 is enough and your
Stephanie Faracy and I mean, it was so good.
Great cast. And this was a film. This was one of the first films that I think Star Wars started it for me. The hype train.
Yeah.
The hype train wasn't from anything else other than kids in my school.
Right.
They were like, you got to see Star Wars. And I had a poster of Star Wars before I even knew what it was.
Wow.
Because I was so like the trailers and everything was like, this looks like everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah. This is they're making movies like this.
Yeah. And then when I finally saw it, it was for my birthday. And I had a kid sitting next to me who had seen it. And every time, when he's going to get his laser sword out, and he's going to get him with a laser sword. Now he's going to get him with a gun. He's going to shoot him with a gun with a bolt with the energy bolt. He's going to get him with the energy bolt. Then he's going to cut him in half. He's going to cut the Obi-Wan in half.
I'm calling it a laser sword from now on.
He's going to get him with a laser sword. And I was just like, shut up, kid! It's my birthday. You're not getting any pizza from Shakey's after this.
Oh yeah. Did you murder him?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
That's good. He deserved it.
He did. He really did.
Yeah, that's don't spoil things.
And I don't know. Statute of limitations runs out on murder, right? Wait a minute.
This was in California, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it does not.
Anyway.
All right. Well, hey, Jim, let's get this done real quick.
Anywho, I was caught up on the hype for Scavenger Hunt. I mentioned on the show that there was this disco version of the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies from the Nutcracker Suite.
Nutcracker Suite.
That somehow juiced my jubes. And
wow, that sounds really naughty.
Juicing my jubes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I call my brain.
Okay.
And so I was super hyped to see this movie. It had all of my talent crushes in it. It looked like a modern-day Mad World. And then when I saw it, I was extremely disappointed. There was a couple of parts that I absolutely loved, like I mentioned. Foam.
Yeah.
Anything with foam.
Yeah. It was interesting because if you had just seen like scenes of this, you'd be like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
But not the sum of its parts was not very good, unfortunately.
No, but what I'm learning from this show, from watching these movies that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like next week, we're doing Ghostbusters 2.
Right.
Is that some movies, like wine or liquor, age better over time.
Yeah.
And become better movies as a result of all the horrible movies that have come after it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed Scavenger Hunt more than I thought that I would.
Right.
And was pleasantly surprised because I was more forgiving about it.
Yeah.
You know? There wasn't the 50 years of hype that I...
No. It's so good. Yeah.
And I could appreciate it for what it was, and the nostalgia of seeing some of my old favorites all together.
Really, watching that movie is watching the actors. I mean, that's the reason to watch it. The writing is not good.
Oh, no.
Directing is not Directing was not very good, which makes me sad, because I really like Michael Schultz. I think he's a good director.
Yeah.
I just don't think that he's terribly great at it.
He's hit or miss.
Yeah.
With the right material, the right passion, the right crew, the right everything.
Because, I mean, The Last Dragon is amazing. It's directed really well.
Yes, but it's also nostalgia sheen. I mean, that movie
I don't disagree. And granted, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I'm still going to love it. It doesn't matter.
Of course, because it's the movies that you love as a kid, you're always going to love. Nobody's ever going to be like, well, you know, this is incongruous with this, and, you know, the actor, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't give a crap, man.
Yeah.
I love this movie as a kid. It's indelibly stuck in my brain as dopamine.
Right.
And so when I watch it, I get that kick. And the most dopamine kick of the month for me was Cannonball Run.
Oh, yeah. It's such a fun movie.
That movie is just pure joy. When I was young, I was kind of a loner, and I had a kind of a mix of a Spielberg and a Dickensian childhood. You know, it was I wouldn't say a healthy mix,
right?
But movies were my escape. That was my church. That was where I would go to get away from it, to 2 hours of just let fantasy or humor or whatever wash over me. And it made movies extremely important to me as a child. Still to this day, very important. Not as important, but, you know. So there are certain movies, like I remember what mood I was in and what I was going through when I saw the original.
Right.
When I first saw Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
And I remember how it took me out of that and washed me away to this fun race with some of my favorite folks. Mm-hmm. And also just cemented the fact Burt Reynolds was instrumental in my love of Hollywood. Like, that era of Hollywood to me is my favorite. The Johnny Carson, crazy Burt Reynolds, aging Rat Pack, chaos of this, you know, the 70s, early 80s. Celebrity. They're all drinking and smoking and throwing whipped cream all over each other, just being goons and goofs. And nobody's out there talking about their cause celeb or the trauma that they went through. And I'm not, look, I think that there's talking about that stuff is great and it totally helps people or whatever. But my personal opinion, I want my actors to be actors. I want to see them in the movies. I don't want to know too much about them because it inevitably ruins it for me, especially if I find out that they're not so great a person.
Talking about you, Chuck Woolery.
Oh, Chuck. Rest in hell. Rest in peace. But back then, it was just fun. It just made Hollywood look like a big club where everybody lived in the same apartment complex. They barbecued together, you know, and they were just having yucks and laughs the entire time.
Yeah, they would at night, they would show up on Match Game and play games, and then they would go home and have a party, and then the next day they'd work on a movie.
You'd see Jamie Farr dressed up as Klinger in his dress on MASH, and then you're home from sick, and he's on Match Game drinking and yucking it up with Gene Rayburn and the rest of the crew, and they were just kind of a staple. It was a fun machine.
Yeah.
You know, it was that they really nailed celebrity in the 70s because it was the end of the studio era,
right,
where everything was perfectly controlled,
contracted to death.
Well, also it's like, you know, every interview, every photo shoot, everything was perfectly constructed to create a narrative and to create a myth of what it was to be a star. You know, it was the royalty, you know, of us. And I think in the 70s and 80s, they stopped taking it so damn seriously.
Yeah.
And just started having fun with it.
Yeah, it was like, why? Yeah, I mean, it's escapism, you know? I mean, it's pure escapism, and it had to be because we were coming out of Vietnam and like Watergate and all this stuff, and it was like people needed to have some joy in their lives.
Yeah, and that's why the 70s is so great, because it's just a goofy, refractory period of America as we gear up for the rah-rah Reagan 80s. But to me, it was this tiny little pocket of progressive ideas and moving forward in terms of equal rights and ERA and feminism, and we started to really get a foothold in all of these social issues and moving the country forward. And just like every time that happens, there's backlash, and then we jump back, and then we jump forward, we jump back. Who cares? But I think the culmination of all of that was, for me, was Cannonball Run, where it's all these great guys that are on talk shows: Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, all these guys, just having a blast, blast, and you can't help but have a blast with them. Like I said, I don't know, man. I don't know what it would be like to watch this movie for the first time today. I don't think.
I'm guessing it probably wouldn't go over as well. I think there is definitely obviously some nostalgia sheen to it, but it's still a fun movie. I mean, you're still having a good time.
You can't argue that it's fun, that it's not fun. And the bloopers at the end, that shaped a generation too.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, like I said, that's why we have bloops. And I think, we have Adam Sandler for better or worse because of Burt Reynolds. His movies, at least. But it was just a really nice, fun, non-complicated month of just a ton of chuckles and laughs.
Yeah, it was good. They were epic laughs.
Very epic comedies. And, without a doubt, if you're going to pick one of the bunch that you haven't seen, definitely go Mad World.
Yeah. Definitely number one, and then Cannonball Run is definitely a good example of how to do a large cast and have fun with it.
Yeah, it's the perfect example of a thin script. Everything is thin.
Wait, there was a script?
Allegedly. But this movie should never have worked.
No.
But it worked solely 100% on the charm of its cast.
And proof that it shouldn't have worked is that Cannonball Run 2 and Speed Zone, the two sequels, are not good.
Cannonball Run 2 has its moments, but it's like lightning in a bottle. When you try to recapture something, there were so many kind of soulless sequels in the 80s. Stuff like Caddyshack 2, which is probably the worst sequel ever made.
Yeah.
Goddamn, poor Dan Aykroyd. I just talked like this the entire time he was a eunuch. Oh, and Jackie Mason. Hey,
it was very ill-conceived.
But there was a ton of that crap. It was just, these chucking out sequels to make money, and definitely not giving them enough time to create something that is a companion piece rather than a detraction piece. So it was just very disappointing.
Yeah. It was unfortunate that as the 80s progressed and up to now, marketing and studios realized that it's much easier just to dip back in that bucket than to try to come up with something original.
Well, what did you say? Like every movie in the top 10 this year is a sequel?
Every single movie in the top 10 this year is a sequel.
It's insane to me.
I think it's the first time ever, from what I remember, that literally every. Normally, there's at least one or two that's an original movie that does something, but every single movie in the top 10 this year was a sequel.
And there were some good original movies this year too. Yeah. It's just, and I think Hollywood is going to either figure it out or is figuring out that if all you make are $300 million movies, you're just going to lose money.
No,
you got to make some smaller
movies.
There's
been way too many big movies not doing well this year that it has to turn around. I mean...
Well, we're in an age where it's all superhero, action, sci-fi. We have no comedies.
No,
very few comedies.
Rare. Yeah.
We have indie comedies coming out that are great.
Yeah.
Like Bottoms or Prom Date and a lot of the stuff that we've talked about on the show.
Yeah.
You get some good subversive comedies there, but I can't name a non-action straight comedy from last year.
No. Not any big budget stuff. Like I mean, but it's not, there's no, like all of the Will Ferrells and the
Judd
Apatows, like all of they're just kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just don't do anything anymore. And we just haven't had that resurgence of somebody that's able to be in the system and make that work.
There is no Will Ferrell or Judd Apatow, or who was doing it before them, or Sandler, or any of these guys.
Even Sandler, yeah.
Sandler's moved. A lot of these guys, like Sandler's moved to Netflix.
Yeah,
and for better or worse, I enjoyed the couple of movies he did with Jennifer Aniston The murder mystery movies.
Oh yeah. I don't think I watched the second one, but the first one was fun. I mean,
finally, he didn't put any of his idiot friends in it, and it was a good movie. It's like, oh my god, Kevin James and what's that little monkey? That little Rob Schneider. You can do it. There's no. Yeah. They retired that little monkey man, but
Rob Schneider, he's a piece of work.
I know, it's so sad. All of those guys.
But there's got to be somebody eventually. But I mean, you're right. At the end of the day, like the studios are like, well, the Marvel has made so much effing money that everybody's like, we got to do big action, all the big action. We'll throw some comedy into it, but like big action, it's got to be big action. We got to justify the fact that we're releasing a movie into 3,000, 4,000 theaters, and inevitably these movies don't make money.
People feel obligated to see them. I think I've seen most of them.
Yeah, but
maybe all of them, but not in the theater.
Seen any of them in the theater?
No, no. Well, some of the first ones, like decades ago.
No, but I mean recently. I'm talking about this year.
No, because there's no point. With streaming, it's like the whole entertainment industry is in a weird place right now. It doesn't know how to make money.
It's so weird because movies are coming out, but literally everybody I know that works in the industry is not working. Like nothing's being made right now.
Well, no, because they had so much material that they're releasing that they had kind of stocked up before the
strike. Yeah,
but
it's just odd. The whole thing's odd, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, the change is scary.
Well, look, we're always going to have movies and entertainment. We're always going to have TV.
Yeah,
it's just we're in a place. People are becoming more not agoraphobic, but at least more homebodies.
Yeah, I mean, it's much easier. You have more of a reason to. I mean, why go to the theater when in 6 weeks it's going to be on one of the streaming services?
And it's also, I know I've said this before, but back in the day, movies were cheap. Everybody paid the same price for Disneyland. Everybody got a pack of tickets. Everything was affordable for everybody. Entertainment was for everybody. But now it's an elite thing. If you want to take your family to the movies, it's going to cost you at least $100.
Dude, I was looking to take Phoebe to Moana 2. Because she's a big Disney fan, big Moana fan. And I was like, I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
It'll be beautiful movie. It'll be fun. Yeah. I like the first one. I was thinking about going to the El Capitan.
Very nice.
I've never been there. It's across from the Kodak Theater where they do the Oscars and all that.
Beautiful theater. They do live shows in front.
There's a live show beforehand. The one I was looking at was you get like swag, with it. Guess how much one ticket to that would cost? It was 2:00 in the afternoon. Guess how much one ticket to that would cost?
$60.
$68.
Are you kidding me?
$68.
I remember when they reopened the El Capitan and they started that with the
live stuff and all that. Yeah.
And we were outraged because it was $16.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we're like, no, only if it's a very, very special movie will we go to the Capitan.
And luckily Phoebe and I are very much on the same page. She was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. No. Like, that's crazy.
But that's sad because that would have been a great experience. Yeah. And if they charged $20 a piece,
I would have easily, maybe even 25. I would be okay with that. But because you do get, there's extra, stuff. But like $68, man, you can't, a family of four, you're not doing anything for the rest of the month.
And that's not even snacks and parking and
getting there. And it's just crazy. But now, granted, there's a theater up the street from us that every Tuesday, you're part of their quote unquote online club. You can see movies for like $6.
Well, sure. But that's every Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's only one day a week.
We've always had dollar days. And,
I know.
But it used to be affordable. You used to be able to go at a matinee and see a movie for $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, we're old man in it.
And that one theater that was in North Hollywood.
The $2 theater.
The $2 theater. Yeah. Paid $2 for a hot dog, $2 for a ticket, $2 for popcorn. You got a whole afternoon.
I think.
Why change is scary?
I think a lot of the unhappiness and the turmoil in this country is due to the fact that so many people are priced out of fun or just priced out of participating.
Yeah, you can't really do entertainment anymore.
No.
I mean, I used to go to literally at least once a month, used to go to concerts.
Yeah.
And I've been to one in the last 2 years because tickets are so friggin' expensive now.
You used to be able to go to the Troubadour.
Oh, yeah.
$15, $25, $20. You could go see Toad the Red Sprocket or...
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you could,
I saw mini shows at the Troubadour for $12.
Great shows. Yeah. I saw Gin Blossom, Soul Coughing. I mean, and then Ticketmaster started, and then the Trube, the $20 tickets went up to. I remember the exact time that it changed. I was into this band called the Crimea, and super psyched. They were coming to town. They were playing the Trube. Tickets were like $20, $25. Sold out immediately.
Yeah.
And then to get the tickets, it was $150. Now,
crazy,
insane. And I'm like, F that. And first of all, I never paid over like $20 for a ticket anyway before that because it's just like So so luckily I found out that this club Spaceland, the Crimea were playing there with a bunch of other bands.
Yeah.
And it was $6. I went there, got in. Nobody was there to see the Crimea. Nobody had any idea who they were. And I think I've told this story before. The greatest single concert experience of my life was I was the only person out on the floor watching them. I was probably 3 feet away from the lead singer.
Oh, nice.
Who looked like a tiny version of a tiny little Gaelic Matt Damon.
Oh.
and he did the entire concert to me.
Nice.
And I'm talking eye contact, dude. Yeah. And we didn't, and it was like a dare. Who's going to break eye contact first? And it was the most insane.
That's awesome.
I didn't come up to him. He didn't come up to me. There was nothing afterwards.
Yeah.
As you know from my winking relationship with Martin Landau for years at Ralph's, where we were winking buddies for years. So whenever I have like these weird instances with quote-unquote celebrities or musicians or whatever, I just like to keep them pure in that weird way, because if we talked, it would have ruined the story.
Right.
Because something,
Right.
But it's the greatest, it was such a great experience. But that, you can't do that now. Now they're not going to play a $6 club. They're going to play the Troubadour. They're going to play this or that. And then even at the $6 club, somehow Ticketmaster's going to get their hands on that. And it just sucks that people were priced out of fun. You used to be able, if you had $5, $10, $15, you could go out for a night. $20, you could go out for a night, have some beers, buy a round for your friends. But it's just, we're in a situation where everything is just way too expensive.
I was looking into getting tickets for Linkin Park is going to be touring again with a new singer. And
a nude singer?
Yeah. Well, she's a lady, so nice. I think not. I listened to the new single they had, and it was. I was like, okay, I'm not a huge Linkin Park fan, but Phoebe is, and she's never seen them live. And after the lead singer killed himself, she was like, well, I'm never going to see them live. Yeah. Well, suddenly they're out, and they're going to play Dodger Stadium. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get some tickets for her for Christmas. Yeah, the cheapest seats, $117.
And you're up behind a post.
You literally, the cheapest nosebleeds at Dodger Stadium.
And this isn't even the real Linkin Park.
No,
no offense to the singer.
It's not. Yeah,
I heard the song. She was playing the song. It sounded good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But now that being said, I went the one place you can still get pretty cheap tickets, the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Granted, you got to sit way in the back.
Yeah.
But I got $17 tickets to go see Rodrigo Gabriela. We were super happy, just sit up in the back. Got there super early, and then the lighting designer walked up and was like, "Hey, I got two tickets down the front. I'm not going to use them. You should take them."
Nice.
And we went down and moved down and saw that. I mean, it was great. The
Hollywood Bowl is a different animal.
I know.
It's got its own. I don't even know if you can get Ticketmaster.
No, it's all through Hollywood Bowl. I don't think it's Ticketmaster at all.
Which more venues should do. I mean, we need to get rid of the middleman.
And I know how much you don't like Pearl Jam, but they are the biggest opponent to Ticketmaster. They've been doing that for 30 years.
I respect that.
Yeah, because they immediately were like, them and Nirvana were both just like, no.
Yeah.
There's a clip I saw of Kurt Cobain where I can't remember who it was that was performing, and he was like, they were like, yeah, tickets for her show. It was like Janet Jackson or something, but tickets for her go for like $17, and he was like, what? $17? Who's paying that? This was in like 1991, 1992, but he was just like, he was flabbergasted that he was like, if you pay more than $5 to see a show, you're an idiot.
Well, because we all just. It was a community event, and everybody could join. It's just the fact that we're price walling 70% of Americans out of just participating in entertainment.
Man, my favorite band, Godspeed, saw them the first time I saw them, $18. Didn't go when they came here technically they were going to come through in March, but not going to go because cheapest tickets $65.
Well,
and it's like they're friggin' Montreal socialists, and I was like, how are they allowing this?
It's not in their control. It's just, you know.
It just sucks. It just makes me sad. I want to go be entertained more.
Well, yeah. I want people. I think people need escape. People need entertainment. And I'm older, and as you get older, you want to leave the house less, and I don't give a crap about that. But
sure.
But it's the younger kids, man. If I was in my 20s and 30s and staying at home all the time, I'd blow my brains out, man. I mean, it's like you got to go to bars, you got to meet people, you got to go have fun, you got to blow off steam, you have to live life, and it shouldn't be that you have to make $30 an hour just to have fun.
Yeah, be able to go out once every 3 weeks and then spend all of your entertainment money in one night.
It's untenable. Anyway, old man.
Oh, man. Everybody listening agrees. They all agree.
I know. It's preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Except for the guy that owns Ticketmaster. And
I want to say thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Well, anyway, speaking of, let's start talking about stuff we sat at home and watched while we were home this month.
Well, again, our huge pick of the month that if you haven't seen it, definitely see it, is Mad.
Yeah, and honestly, if you can't find it, there's a Blu-ray on Amazon for like $20.
Yeah.
Just pick it up. You'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It's worth the weight in gold.
Yeah, it should be in your collection if you're a Gen Xer.
Yes.
And then the other ones definitely watch, but you don't need to buy them.
Yeah.
Maybe Cannonball.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you really need a good shot of dopamine, Cannonball Run is the way to go.
You can get a DVD for $5, and that's the way you want to watch it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All
right, so what movies were you watching this?
I was very, very busy this month, so I did not see a lot of movies, unfortunately. But I did make an effort to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Which finally came out on Disney+.
Yeah, Disney+. Weird.
Yeah, I know.
First pegging joke on Disney+. Probably. Well, actually, Gravity Falls used to have a lot of pegging jokes.
Well, you never saw Mickey Mouse pegs Minnie Mouse?
Oh, hey, what you doing back there, Minnie?
The other way, sorry, Minnie.
Hey, Minnie,
Mickey.
stop that. Oh, wait. Oh, no, don't stop it. I like it. Oh,
oh my.
That was a clip.
Yeah. I will say, watching Deadpool and Wolverine made me really excited for new Marvel stuff. I know we've been ragging on Marvel stuff, but they've been doing a bunch of D23 stuff around the world and releasing new things, and I'm excited about some of the upcoming movies and things they're doing. I didn't think I'd get excited about Marvel stuff again after the end of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
But it's been, you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the Deadpool movies. I don't love the Deadpool movies.
Same.
I think they're fun. They, in my opinion, outweigh their welcome a little bit, and it's just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I like Ryan Reynolds, but I can only take so much of Ryan Reynolds.
I think they did a smart thing of bringing Hugh Jackman back because they're really close friends, and it shows on the screen.
And definitely. And Hugh Jackman is a great actor.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And they did give him several opportunities to showcase that.
He did, yeah.
He had some really great emotional scenes. It was really fun to see bringing back a lot of the characters and what they did. I'm really not very excited for the next phase of Marvel. When they announced that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Doom, that's it for me. I don't.
Thank you, Jonathan Majors, for screwing everything up.
I like Robert Downey Jr. I don't love him. I'm tired of his shtick, kind of.
You know what? I used to love him, and now I just kind of like him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the older he's getting, the more I'm like, ugh.
Well, because you can't, if you're going to do the same damn thing over and over again. And yes, he did do a different turn for Oppenheimer, but in my opinion only, it was the worst performance in that movie. It was a cartoon villain that was like him eating the scenery, and it's like makeup isn't a character. So, and the whole motivation and even if it's true or not true about his character, the whole, I'm going to get you, Oppenheimer, I'm going to kick you down a pig. It just was boring and stupid to me. And the fact that he won the Oscar, whatever. It just even more, it strengthens my opinion that the Oscars are BS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That said, I think Jon Favreau is extremely talented.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to see, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm just not like, I just feel like it's like going back to school or something, or it just feels kind of laborious. Like, here we go, another phase of...
I don't know necessarily about that stuff. I'm more excited about the movies coming out at the beginning of next year.
Okay,
like Thunderbolts looks really fun.
Yes.
It looks goofy and fun, kind of like it's taking over the action comedy mantle of the Guardians movies.
Right.
Like, it looks really fun, and then
kind of mix of that and Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I'm kind of excited about the new Captain America movie. Like, it looks
is that the
interesting.
Russo brothers? Are they doing
No.
Oh.
They did not. No, I don't think they did that because I think they're focusing on the Avengers movies that are coming up. Well,
Harrison Ford's in it. I will watch anything he's in.
It looks. Look, I'm a sucker for a good trailer. Both those trailers are really good. It made me excited about it. Past that, I don't know.
Well, my favorite, I think my favorite movie of the Marvel universe was Winter Soldier. I thought that was such a tight, good spy movie.
It could have not been a Marvel movie.
Right.
It was so good. Yeah.
So good. And I'm getting those types of vibes from the new Captain America movie. And Harrison Ford, hey man, dude in his 80s playing Red Hulk is rad.
It's going to be fun. It'll be fun. And who knows? Maybe it'll just be okay. Maybe it'll be garbage. I don't know.
But I think I enjoyed this Wolverine movie. Pretty much. But I enjoyed this probably the best. And I think that they do a good job of mixing schmaltz with, crassness and violence or whatever.
Well, that's what Hugh Jackman's straight man makes Ryan Reynolds' goofiness so much more palpable.
More likable,
because it's like, and I don't have an issue with Ryan. I think I like Ryan Reynolds more than you do, but like...
I like Ryan Reynolds.
Because he does that shtick and he does it well, but like, it was good in this movie to see it balanced a bit.
Well, that's the thing. I think Ryan Reynolds works best if he has a good co-star. Like, this was great because he and... Hugh Jackman have a great chemistry.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman is a great actor, and he is a generous actor, and he brings out the best of whomever he's working with. I think, like, I don't remember the name of that awful movie, Project Red or something, with he and The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't really have much chemistry.
Yeah.
The Rock always seems like he's kind of competing with all of his co-stars.
Yeah.
There's no real generosity with him.
Yeah.
Unless he's working with a child,
competition in a bad way. Yeah.
He's always just playing the same guy with the eyebrow, and he's mad, but he's not, and he's this. It's just the same effing character all the time. He just looks like a big toe in a suit that's just grumpy.
Yeah.
And everybody who listens to the show knows that I'm not the biggest Rock fan. I also don't dislike The Rock. He just, to me, is kind of indicative of everything that's really wrong with the business.
Right.
His type of movie star, I have little respect for because it's just so manufactured and it's so about success and money and dominating rather than art and collaboration and having fun.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan Reynolds does better with better actors, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's always solid, but it's like... He needs to be in a wheelhouse for me. I don't don't remember any dramas that I really enjoyed him in. I thought he was horribly miscast for the Amityville Horror remake. And
it was just kind of weird.
There was just this string of like they were trying to make him a quote-unquote real actor.
Yeah.
And then just realized he's just Chevy Chase light. So let him be.
Yeah.
That being said, no, but I did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah,
and
it was
it's
fun.
a really fun, goofy
Fun,
movie,
yeah.
and a lot of really great cameos and little Easter eggs and stuff. If you're a Marvel fan, and the best Marvel movie I've seen in since Guardians 2, I suppose.
Probably, yeah, and it's not. I mean, they're finally introducing the mutants and stuff into the world, which is cool. And I know people have been waiting for that for a long time. And it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see where it goes. I don't know. There's been enough analysis that I've seen that I'm more excited about where they're going with it than what they were doing before.
Yeah,
but who knows? I mean, most of these movies, this whole next phase is for like 5 friggin' years. So it's like, I'm just like, okay, I don't even know if the world's going to be around in 5 years.
Well, or people are going to be interested in 5 years because people are starting to get superhero fatigue and it's just too much. And we were talking earlier too about how if every movie costs $300 million to make, you're never going to make any money.
No,
you know,
no.
and
what do you
it's
do? Everything has to make $1 billion just to turn a profit.
the main reason for these comedies is they're cheaper to make and they make a ton of money and they kind of balance out, you know, the failures.
And that's like horror movies. You spend $4 million on 10 horror movies. One of them's going to hit, and then you're going to pay for everything else.
That's the genre that's still going really strong. Yeah. There's tons of horror movies.
Yeah.
Let me just contrast another superhero movie that I watched.
Okay.
Was The Watchmen Part 1.
Oh, yeah. I need to see this stuff.
Yeah, they did an animated version of The Watchmen. They're doing it in 2 parts. The first part is on Max. They just released the second part on video on demand, so it'll probably be on Max next month. Or
I'm guessing by Christmas,
I loved it. I'm a huge Watchmen comic book fan.
Yeah.
Around the time that I was in college, there was this kind of renaissance of comics where you had the Dark Knight, the reimagining of Batman.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight. What was it called? Is it Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns. Frank Miller, right?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
He's old and
grumpy.
He's more grumpy.
I was kind of getting back into comics with the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers and all these kind of subversive underground comics. And then this stuff started coming out, and then Watchmen. And I remember buying the Watchmen, the book, I didn't get the comics, but I got
the compendium.
The graphic novel. That was the other thing. Graphic novels started then.
Right.
And gave us a little bit more street cred. A comic book. This isn't a comic book, this is a graphic novel.
Yeah.
I'm reading a graphic novel.
The Watchmen graphic novel is considered, it was named to Time's 100 most influential novels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's completely changed the landscape of superheroes.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I will say that it's probably my second favorite thing that Zack Snyder did, but I still didn't.
Yeah.
And I think the one time that the Snyder cut actually is beneficial is watching the Watchmen movie, because he was pretty faithful to it. And I think when you have to adapt something that is so beloved to everybody, you can't, start making all the bloated, gross mistakes that he makes on everything else he does. But it was good, and it was cast well. But this, to me, is the definitive version. It is exactly how you adapt a comic book. It is so well done, and I cannot wait to watch the second part. It is so great, and it makes me. I know you've got like 80 different versions on your bookshelf.
I was going to say, I think that I may be a little bit more in love with Watchmen than you are, but
I'm ready to read it again. Is what I'm saying.
I've got the giant definitive edition, that and the Dark Knight Returns, that has all the extra stuff in it. I do actually have one of the last piece of Watchmen art that Dave Gibbons ever made.
Wow.
Which, granted, was a mass-produced poster for Comic-Con in 2007.
But still.
2008, when the movie was coming out.
Right.
But it was the last piece of Watchmen art he's ever done. It's hanging on my bedroom wall. And I've got a coffee table book for the art of the movie. And for me, the most definitive was there was a motion comic that was done.
Right.
And it was because it was literally the art from the book. But this looks really great. A part of me doesn't want to watch it until the second part comes out, so I can just watch all of it together.
Yeah. Part of me also liked it because I feel like I'm waiting for the comic to come. You know what I mean? It's like down back in the day when you would read.
Right. It's like, man,
I just read the Hulk issue 62. I need 63.
I got to wait 30 days.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
But the way that they integrate the pirate comic into the story is brilliant. And it's been a long time since I've actually read the comic, so I don't know exactly how page-to-page accurate it is, but it seems extremely accurate. And if you're a fan of The Watchmen, definitely check it out. I also just want to mention I loved the HBO Watchmen series.
This is the thing I said this to Phoebe. I think I want to sit down and watch the part 1 and part 2, and then rewatch the HBO series.
Same.
I don't even remember if I watched the last episode or not.
Oh wow!
I want to say I don't think I did. So and I just remember liking it a lot and thinking it was very true to the story, true to the
world.
The world, yeah. So we'll see. I definitely am excited to see it.
Yeah, it's great. Check it out. It's on Max. And then just a couple. I'm just going to go 3 quickies. I finally watched Fall Guy.
Yeah, I still need to see that.
It took me a couple of false starts to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved it.
Nice,
I loved it.
nice.
The stunts were amazing. It's a love letter to stuntmen. Ryan Gosling, he's just so charming and fun.
I just want to hang out with him.
When he plays kind of like goofy and a little bit naive or just not knowing what's going on, there's nobody better. And Emily Blunt is hilarious and great. It is a fun, dumb action comedy that perfectly encaptures the soul of the source material, the show.
Nice.
And what's great is there's a cameo by Lee Majors.
Oh, yeah.
Who played the original.
Yeah.
Guy looks great in his
Yeah.
80s. It's
He's in his
insane.
80s, yeah.
Insane. He plays a cop. Not a lot of cops in their 80s. But I highly recommend it. It was just...
They're supposed to be cops in their 80s.
It was just really fun. And at the end, just to, piggyback off of Smokey and the Bandit, they have like some bloops.
Oh,
and
nice.
showing like the stunts and stuff at the end.
Nice,
And it's
nice.
really fun to watch. It's just a good time.
Okay.
It's one of those feel-good, fun, turn your brain off, have a great time movies.
That's what we need right now.
Another one of those, I watched Twisters. Twisters, it's basically the first movie with better special effects.
Oh, okay.
And
Is there
not as good
cow
of
flying
actors.
around? Is there a flying cow?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, well, then I don't even
A
care.
lot of people
Why do I
get
care?
sucked up into the
okay.
A lot of death.
How was Glenn Powell in it?
He's fine.
Okay.
He's fine.
He's interesting to me, so like part of me wants him to be successful.
I'm kind of tired of them shoving Glenn Powell in my face all the time and being, here's your new star. Just let me discover him.
I know.
For myself
Let him do
and
his
enjoy
thing.
him.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy him. I think he's got an easygoing.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a good star. I think he's got that.
Yeah.
But it just from some things that I've read, it just feels like they're full on manufacturing him to be whatever, and that just kind of gives me the ick. But if you like the first one, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the first one. I watched it because I love Bill Paxton and Philip Seymour Hoffman and a lot of the actors. Twisters, it's just thin and dumb. And it's just the first movie with much better special effects and not as good of actors.
Turn your brain off. Just let it go.
And if you didn't like the first one, not going to like this one.
Right,
so don't even bother. It's meh. It's a meh.
Yeah, it was funny because we were talking about trying to watch it at a movie night, and Newt was just like, I do not want to see that.
Oh, because they're from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably more like the thing.
Probably a little too close to home.
Well, fine, because I do not want to watch it again. No. It took me about 2 or 3
I'm not. It's one of
sittings
those,
to get through that, too.
It'll be a random, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll throw it on, and suddenly be 2 hours later, it'll be over, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right, I just watched this.
And then just lastly, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm pretty close to being finished. But a big surprise, on the other hand, was Transformers 1.
Oh, yeah.
With Brian Tyree Henry playing Megatron and Chris Hemsworth playing Optimus. You have Steve Buscemi playing Starscream.
Nice.
And the way that Starscream gets his voice is the origin story there.
Oh, good.
And then Keegle, Mike, and Key is a very verbose Bumblebee.
Nice.
Which is nice because he doesn't talk in the movies. But so far, even not finishing it, it is the hands down best Transformers movie, better than all of the other ones put together.
Oh, okay.
It actually has a story.
Right.
The characters are interesting. The origin story of Megatron and Prime being friends.
Right.
And the whole class system on the planet.
So they stole this from the Wicked, is what you're saying?
Yes, it is basically Wicked.
It's Wicked, but with Transformers.
Yes, there's so many songs. The musical numbers they're beautiful.
The one where Megatron flies is really good.
My name is Optimus Prime, and I like helping all the time. But my friend Megatron has gone to the dark side. I gotta save him, or he'll die right. Oh, Transformers! Transform! That's the opening number.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, just made that up.
That was pretty good. Opening soon at the Pantages.
But it's fun. You got Scarlett Johansson. It's funny. A good friend of ours she's a voiceover actress, and every time that there's a movie out, she's always just like, ugh, that person, and she's so right about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like Scarlett Johansson's great, but there's so many great actual voice actors that I would, much rather see.
They still need the names. They need the names.
John Hamm is great. Lawrence Fishburne, Keegan-Michael Key plays Bumblebee, like I said. He is a great voice actor.
It's on Paramount Plus.
I believe so, yeah.
I need to watch it.
I need to finish it.
Yeah.
But really, I was hesitant because I was like, is it kind of a kid's movie? It's a Nickelodeon thing.
But this also, again, the trailer really got me.
Yeah.
Like, it looked really funny.
It is. It's fun. It's funny. And from what I see, the impetus for their split is organic and seems so far to be.
It was literally over a banana split.
It was. They were both in love with a banana split. And not an actual banana split, but one of the animals from the banana splits.
Oh,
the
okay,
1970s
right.
Sid and Marty Krofft show. It's so complicated.
It is. It sounds fascinating.
There are like 5 different things you need to watch before this.
Really retconning the origin.
Oh my God. It's Hasbro, baby. They're trying to bring back their old toys.
The really old toys. Yeah.
But yeah, James Remar's in it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a good watch.
So far, so good. And unless they really screw the pooch on the third act, it's great.
Hopefully not.
Any movies that you?
No. I literally Deadpool and Wolverine was the only thing that I think I watched this entire month.
Wow. I mean, we watched some. Well, look, honestly, we spent a lot of time watching the movies for the show.
There were very long movies this month. Yes,
so at least 2 very, very long.
I've been very busy. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you went on a cruise.
I did.
Busy having fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just switch over to the Teebs. What's on the tube soon?
I watched. Last week. I was not feeling well. I had given platelets, and I started watching the show.
Were you really resentful that you gave your blood? You're nobody needs.
No, I don't. I think I have an allergy to something that I don't know I have. So
Charity.
Yeah. Yes. I can't help it. I have to do it, but then I'm just sick for 3 days.
Yes, you hate help. That's what you do.
But a show that originally started on Showtime in 2018 is now on Netflix, and I highly recommend to everybody Escape at Dannemora.
Oh yeah.
It's directed by Ben Stiller, the entire series.
He is becoming an amazing director.
After I finished it, I almost started watching the first season of Severance again, just because I was like, I need to see more from Ben Stiller.
Yeah, between those two things, he is the preeminent TV director at this
so
point.
Good. And actually, Severance is coming back in the middle of December, so I'm excited for that to start again.
Yeah, me too.
But Escape at Dannemora is based on a true story from 2015. 2 guys that escape from a maximum security prison in upstate New York, and how they get out. And Patricia Arquette. Yeah. She's so good in it.
Amazing.
So good.
And it's Paul Dano and Benicio del Toro.
Del Toro is hit and miss for me. He actually was hit and miss for me in the show too.
Yeah.
Not bad, but I think he just played the character way too well. But Paul Dano, oh my God, he is such a good actor.
He's one of the new generation of actors that I love to watch.
Yeah,
I didn't really enjoy the Batman movie, but I really enjoyed him.
Yeah. I normally like the stuff he does, and that was just weird. And again, I need to see the Batman again. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna watch again before the Penguin.
Right.
But he was so good in this. He was just so good and played off of Benicio del Toro so well, and it was so good.
Well, Paul Dano came right out of the box, fully baked. I mean, when you saw Little Miss Sunshine, that performance, I'm like, this kid is going places. This guy is somebody to watch. He's amazing.
And There'll Be Blood. He was so good in that.
I mean, granted, he did have 2 killer parts.
Yeah, he did.
He started his career
Yeah.
But
he's so good.
He delivers every time.
And just a shout out to Eric Lang, who plays Patricia Arquette's husband.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who I was like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. He had the weirdest mouth, and I don't know if he was wearing fake teeth.
Well, he had that weird kind of.
Yeah, his jaw was always moving around, and but he embodied that upstate New York so well. But he was the guy in the show Lost who played Rosinski. And he was just a minor character, but very memorable character in Lost. One of the others that tries to kill the main characters.
When you showed me the picture side by side, it's 2 different human beings.
He is so good. Immediate now talent crush on Eric Lang.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever he does, I'll be there.
Yeah, that guy, I love character actors that disappear into their roles. You don't know them who they are from part to part.
To me, like if someone had come to me and said, "Well, that's the actual husband of the lady that helped them," I would be like, "Yeah, I believe you. I totally believe you." Like, he was so in that role. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was so well done.
And everybody, all the acting. And this is the other thing I love about Ben Stiller. He really knows how to pull good performances from his actors.
He's an actor's director. Yeah. Usually actors that become directors, they do get the best performances.
Yeah. But that being said, there were some great shots in this. The long tracking shot where they finally show like how long it took for Paul Dano to get down to where he was trying to get out.
Oh yeah, look,
it was great.
I think Stiller is an amazing technical. I think all around a great director. I think he has been in the business since he was just a baby boy, and he's paid attention.
Yeah.
And he's worked with Spielberg and
very smart,
all of the masters.
And I will say the show, so the way it was set up is so well, written so well. You get about 5 episodes where you're kind of on the side of the guys breaking out. And you're like, man, like these guys really, they should get out. And then there's one episode showing why they're in prison. Yes. And holy crap, they are bad people.
That's what I love is the anti-hero. You know, you got like anti-heroes like Dexter or Breaking Bad and you root for them. But a lot of times there's not, something that crosses the line.
Right.
And that's the thing is I love that he builds up this likability and then completely destroys it, and then you feel super guilty about even liking that.
Exactly. It's so good. Anyway, it's on Netflix. Highly recommend it. Great show. It's only 8 episodes. Each one is about 45 minutes to an hour. It is a great watch. Highly recommend it.
Nice. Yeah, I do too. I watched it when it came out on Showtime.
I can't believe it took me 6 years to watch it.
Yeah, I don't remember it that much. I mean, I remember the story and everything and the performances, but I just remember absolutely loving it.
And the fact that it was true. I mean, there's parts of it that are disputed, but
I think that there is a documentary as well on Netflix about the actual incident.
The escape. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. The whole story is crazy, and it's just good. It's really good. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. I watched Cross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
about the origin of crisscross.
Yes. Yeah, because everybody go jump.
Why they put their pants on backwards?
Mm-hmm. It was because they were dyslexic. That's the sad truth.
I was so hoping you were going to say that.
Sadly, their song wasn't supposed to be called Jump. It was supposed to be called Bumch.
Bumch.
Yeah. But whatever.
But,
no, it is about Alex Cross, James Patterson's iconic doctor detective.
It's been adapted a couple times.
It has been adapted several times. The first, it was with Morgan Freeman.
Right.
Was back in the 90s.
All the Pretty Girls or something? No.
There was 2, I think.
Yeah. I think one of them was All the Pretty Girls, but
it's something like that. Yeah, it was with the Casanova.
Yeah.
The thing about Patterson, his books are very easy reads. They're like 2-page chapters.
They're beach reads, yeah.
Yeah, and you could literally read it in an afternoon on the beach.
Yeah.
That's how fast. Not very complicated, but fun books.
Yeah.
I've read tons of them.
Page turners.
I love just trashy thrillers and serial killer books, quick reads. I love that. I mean, give me as much as I can take.
Right,
and I'm a fan of Patterson. I'm not going to poo-poo him. I think it's fun pulp. I think just like, sometimes you want to read a Big Mac, and sometimes you want to read filet mignon. It's just like movies and TV. And he's Big Macs. And the Morgan Freeman adaptations were good. He really got the character well. Mm-hmm. And then
didn't the Medea guy do it? Yeah.
Then I don't know if I
think he just did one movie.
Because it didn't do well.
Yeah.
It was I believe it was him and the lead from Lost,
Matthew Fox.
And Matthew Fox transformed himself for the movie, and it's one of those things like, bummer, dude.
Yeah,
you should have really transformed your acting for the movie because not necessarily his fault. It was just kind of bland, and Tyler Perry played him.
Yes.
From Medea fame.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he directed it, or I think it was his production.
He definitely produced it if he didn't direct it.
And he wasn't bad at the part.
I just don't think his target audience was prepared for him playing a serious part like that.
But it's also, Alex Cross is an extremely complicated character.
Right.
He's very smart. You know, he's a doctor and a detective and all these different things and a psychologist and blah, blah, blah. And you need somebody with the gravitas of Morgan Freeman and also the likability of Morgan Freeman to play that character. Yeah. And I will have to say that Aldous Hodge, who's played him, does a great job. And this is a younger Alex Cross. This is right after his wife died. He's got his young kids, living with his grandmother.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. Because it's the books.
Yeah.
It's thin. Yeah. The plot's whatever. Right. It is Big Macs.
It's goofy.
You're not going to get... I don't know why anybody thinks that somehow these books are going to be elevated to some sort of art. They're not.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're the only person I know, or the only person in the world that liked the show.
That's fine, because I got it. Because it is the books. It is pulp. It's silly and it's fun, and I love serial killer stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Aldous Hodge. I really liked Isaiah Mustafa, who played Samson. Samson in the books is like... Cross is a big dude, but Samson is...
big,
huge dinner. You know, he's like Jack Reacher.
Right.
And they finally got a character to play John Samson that plays John Samson.
Right.
Like he was either a throwaway character or not even in it or nobody cares. But this really, that was the thing, because he was always my favorite character in the books.
Yeah.
To see him done right was great. Look, it was just something that I binged and enjoyed, and it washed over me. If you like the Patterson books, I think you're going to like it.
Right.
If you don't, you're not.
Yeah.
And if you're expecting some sort of, Mindhunter-esque masterpiece, then stay away. Yeah. But if you're looking for some fun escapism and some good performances, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Cool. I am finally catching up on Resident Alien. I realized nice. I tried watching the third season and then realized there was a whole second half of the second season I hadn't watched yet. I totally misremembered the first half of the second season. Like, I swore it ended on some weird cliffhanger that it did not. So I've been really enjoying watching it again. I'm excited to get through the third season. I don't know if they're doing more of it or not.
I hope so.
But I'm excited. It's, Alan Tudyk is one of the greatest actors alive right now.
Alan Tudyk is so under the radar, but is in everything.
Yeah.
And is great in everything. He did such a good job on the animated Harley Quinn show.
Oh, yeah.
Playing Clayface.
Clayface, yeah.
That he's going to be Clayface in James Gunn's
nice. Okay,
universe.
Great.
Which is great. Because he plays him like an actor. There
was we watched the first episode 9, the first episode of the second half last night, and there was a moment where the line was so layered where he was answering somebody and he didn't want to answer the way he did, but he knew he had to because he was an alien pretending to be a human. and the hurt in his voice when he answered, it was so brilliant. It was so brilliant.
He's an amazing actor, an amazing voice actor. He's just one of those absolutely infuriatingly talented human beings.
He just makes it look so easy.
It's just his character on Firefly is so beloved. Yeah. And when spoiler alert, in the movie, they take him out and people were so pissed.
Yeah.
So mad because he was just, everybody loves him. And he's one of those guys that I'm going to root for forever.
Oh, yes.
And somebody so deserving of success.
Yes.
And has earned everything that he's gotten.
Yeah.
That MFer is a diamond.
Oh, everything. Huge talent crush.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I've loved him for decades.
Yeah.
Even before I knew who he was.
Even before I met him, I would spy on him.
Yes.
And
he was my neighbor.
He's so good. But anyway, I know that show is older. It's on Peacock, and I've been very much enjoying it.
It's a great show. If you haven't watched Resident Alien, it is a fun show. It is definitely worth your time. Yeah. Where is it streaming?
Peacock. It's on Peacock, yeah. Yeah.
Just a couple of quick... there's two new shows that have come out that I want to talk about that are both really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
The first is Interior Chinatown.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi is one of the producers. It's based on a book called Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. Mm-hmm. And it's this story. It's a very weird story.
Yeah, it's a weird setup.
A minor character in an SVU type procedural.
Like CSI type.
Yeah, like
a Law and Order or
exactly,
whatever.
Exactly. You've got the two detectives that have the banter and they're, the woman. And they do a very good job of parodying that.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they come in, the lighting changes in the restaurant.
Oh, nice,
and it's,
nice. But Jimmy O Yang plays
Jimmy O Yang,
background character.
He's a background character who's working in a restaurant. He and Ronnie Chang and this other guy, they all work in this restaurant. And Jimmy's backstory is his brother was like this big kung fu hero, and he died, and his the wrong one died, kind of thing.
Right.
But the whole thing, and it's very confusing. I've only seen a couple of episodes, but it's like, at first I thought, oh, the actor in the show playing the part, but it's the character in the show starts to come out of the background and become more of the hero, and it's about somebody who's not supposed to be a hero becoming the hero.
Okay.
And there's this detective. She's a half Asian detective who's kind of brought in to the two main characters to give some diversity, or because she knows Chinatown because she's part Asian.
She's one of them half-breeds.
It's great. It's so unique and different.
I need to watch this. Yeah.
And the performances, I've always enjoyed Jimmy O Yang, whether it's his stand-up or watching him on Silicon Valley or
he's so good in that.
Whatever he pops up on. Just a really engaging guy. And I love Ronnie Chang, whether it's his stand-up or The Daily Show.
His amazing turn in Megan.
Hey, he was the best part of Megan.
I know.
Let's be honest.
I 100% agree.
He's just got this I've never seen more of a likable grump. He's just he's so lovingly acerbic. I love him so much. It's totally intrigued me, but it's a show that I kind of want to take my time with rather than just jamming through it.
It sounds so confusing, and it's something you really got to watch.
It is, but it's not. Like it doesn't. It challenges you, but it's not a dick about it. Right. It's coming together. Like it's revealing itself in a great way, and it's so far so good. I think I'm a couple episodes in, maybe 3, and I'm in. Okay. I'm totally in. Okay. I just keep getting distracted because there's a lot of good TV out there.
A lot of stuff going on.
The second one is A Man on the Inside.
Oh yeah.
Mike Schur's new. Is it Mike?
Michael Schur.
Michael Schur, his new show. He did Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The Good Place.
The Good Place. He was one of the guys, writers on The Office.
And on The Office. Yeah.
He's super talented.
A brilliant writer.
And Ted Danson, who is
brilliant,
probably the greatest TV actor ever. Yeah. At least in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And this show totally surprised me because I was going into it. I didn't really love the first episode.
Yeah.
The setup, which is Ted Danson is a widower. He's just kind of like got his routine in his house, waking up, taking naps. We go through his lonely routine.
Yeah.
His daughters worry about him. He's like, I get a hobby or whatever. He answers an ad for a detective who's looking for an older person to go undercover in an assisted living home to help solve a crime. Okay. Somebody allegedly stole this woman's necklace. Her son wants somebody to go in, find the necklace before they do the insurance thing or whatever. So he goes in, he gets the job, and he goes into the home. And the portrayal of the assisted living place and the older actors is so great.
Yeah.
And it deals with the infantilization of old people and that's the greatest thing. It's like Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah. She played the tough-talking, I want to say Roz, but that's not who it was.
It's not Roz.
Whomever, but you know who she is. She was also in Twisted Metal. She was also one of the stars of Twisted Metal. Yeah. But she plays the head of the assisted living service, and she is so dedicated to it. She cares about them, and she doesn't want to infantilize them. Right. She knows they're adults and doesn't treat them. And they drink, they smoke pot,
Yeah, yeah.
The kind of conceit to get in there is fine, but watching Ted Danson, it's such a complex role, and watching him kind of come out of his shell, and the conflict between him becoming really good friends with these people, but also investigating them, and the investigating being like, you can't be their friends, you got to do, and just the conflict with him, and his daughter, all of it just comes together so well, and it's emotional, it's funny, it's sad. It took me. What's really funny is the other night I had like 8 cups of coffee. I could not sleep, and I binge watched the show till about 2 a.m.
Oh yeah,
got through almost all of it. I'm on the last episode now, and I teared up.
Yeah,
I was so emotionally invested in this, and it's just a testimony to how great Michael Schur is.
Oh,
and how the dream team of he and Ted Danson are amazing. I mean, for Ted Danson to go from Cheers to Becker to Good Place, I mean, the guy has been on TV constantly for 5 decades.
Yeah.
And I never watched Becker, but every other thing that I saw of his, I loved. And he's just, at 78, he's at the top of his game. And
he's still so good.
Such a layered performance. Stephanie Beatrice is so good. It's the best thing she's ever done.
Nice.
And you get to see Sally Struthers, who I didn't even know she was still alive.
Yeah.
Veronica Cartwright, who we were just talking about.
Who's in Alien.
In Alien, yeah. She's amazing. Again, I cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to watch it. I mean, I almost started watching it when I was giving platelets, and I decided not to because I thought that Phoebe would really like it.
I think she would. It does hit some pretty sad points, but it does it in a very entertaining way. And it's a quick watch. It's only 8 episodes, so you can jam through it in a weekend. And I kind of am bummed. It's one of those things where I stopped watching the last episode because I'm not ready to be finished with it.
Yeah.
I feel like I went through it too quickly. It's like you have an amazing meal that you eat too quick and you want to save that last bite.
Right.
So I'll probably finish it
Clyde
today.
Kusatsu's in it. Clyde Kusatsu, the Japanese guy who was in Top Dog.
Yes.
And
Magnum.
So good. Yeah, in Magnum. He was so good.
Yeah, some great character actors. So definitely check that out. A Man on the Inside and Interior Chinatown are my uber picks of the month. A couple of quickies. Shrinking's back, better than ever.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, if he doesn't win the Emmy this time, then the Emmys should fold up shop, move out of town. Yeah. I finished The Penguin. I dug it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think now that it's over, I'm going to watch The Batman again and then watch it.
I think the standout for me, as good as Colin Farrell was as the Penguin, with all the stuff on and the voice, the standout was Kristen Milotti.
Yeah.
She was absolutely perfection in it. One of the best things she's ever done. And again, I've had a talent crush on her since like 30 Rock. She played Baby.
She's so good in that.
That's so good.
So good in that.
So good. And even on How I Met Your Mother, I mean, she had the thankless role of coming in and being the mother.
She did a great job considering.
I mean, think of that. I mean, for the fans of that show, that is the biggest reveal of the entire show. Yeah. And it was never going to satisfy anyone, ever. And the fact that she took it.
So charming.
So great.
So charming.
And she's just an amazing actor. And she steals that show.
Yeah. Okay.
So I definitely say watch that. And then we're in the last season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, I need to watch that too.
And it's been a great season, but it's just the dread of knowing that it's ending.
Yeah.
It's making it hard for me to watch. But those are the TVs.
Silo's come back. Highly recommend watching Silo. They have at least 2. Well, today will be the 3rd episode. But highly recommend it. The first season ended on such a cliffhanger, and I always love it when the show sticks the landing.
Yeah.
The first episode back, there's literally maybe like 3 lines of dialogue in the entire episode.
Oh, I love that.
So good.
I love silent episodes.
It's so good. And there is a reveal in it that is so heartbreaking, but it's so good. It's such a good show. Highly recommend it.
I need to watch it.
I'm very excited that they are, because this season 2 will end the first book, and then they are adapting the other 2 books over the next 2 seasons, and then the show's done.
Oh.
So I am excited that they're doing the entire trilogy and that they're doing the whole thing, and Apple TV has already committed to it.
That's great. It is so great when they have a game plan and an end plan, and they can do it the way they want to do it.
Rebecca Ferguson is so good in the show.
She is an amazing actor.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And also, randomly, I know this is completely different from anything else, but there is a Harry Potter baking show that's happening. It is so weird. It's hosted by the 2 Weasley twins.
Oh, wow.
They are so charming, and it is weird because they have got some of the best bakers. The stuff they're creating is insane.
Really?
It is so cool. And it's big because Phoebe and I are both big Harry Potter fans, so like... it's just interesting seeing it and what they're doing with it and stuff. And we've only watched like half of the first episode, but it's just so fun.
Oh, check it out. I keep scrolling past. I used to watch a lot of Food Network. And
this is a Food Network thing. Yeah, but they certainly dumped way more money into it than anything else they've ever done.
I had a ex-girlfriend that was really into that, and I think the trauma has subsided enough that I can go back to watching cooking shows.
They do a Halloween like baking show every year, and we're behind on it. But every October we end up sitting down and watching a few seasons while we eat lunch, over the course of the month. And we got through to a last season just last week, and it was like we could either do the holiday baking stuff or the Harry Potter, and we're like, let's do the Harry Potter.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyway, I'm big into baking shows and stuff. So.
Yeah, you're into bacon.
Fun. I am.
I'm into bacon, but in a different way.
But highly recommend Silo. I'm gonna keep harping this on you until you actually watch it.
I will. Well, it took you 6 years to watch.
I know Escape at Dannemora.
So you got to give me a little time.
I wish I hadn't. Yeah, I mean, granted, I wouldn't be surprised if you wait until the show is over. Like that would be fine too.
Yeah.
But it's so good because now I'm at that point where it's like I gotta wait a week. I gotta wait a week for another episode.
Yeah, I love I hate waiting.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy shows that I really love being weekly.
Yeah.
Because then it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have no self-control. So I will just binge something, with A Man on the Inside.
How I watched 8 hours of Escape at Dannemora in 2 days.
Good Lord. Yeah. You just feel sweaty and weird. And you're kind of like looking around. But I will definitely check. I mean, Silo is top on my list. I did watch the first episode when it first started. And it just didn't grab me. I think it's one that's going to take a couple episodes.
Yeah. You got to kind of ease into it. Yeah. And it definitely gets better as it goes. And once you start learning more about the mythology and stuff and like all that. Yeah.
I'm getting more comfortable. Look, we're Gen X, man. We're very patient. We're used to having to wait for stuff. So I'm getting much better at easing into a show and not judging it by its first episode because there's so many shows that didn't necessarily love the first episode, but then end up loving the series.
Right. What have you been playing?
Well, I finally finished Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show. This is my memory. But, oh my God. Top 5. One of the best games. Probably the best RPG I've ever played. Closest thing to ever playing D&D. And as somebody who doesn't have anybody to play D&D with and hasn't played in a long time. Super excited to do a second playthrough. There's different. You can do an honor mode, which is you have to like not be bad, or you can do a dark urge playthrough, which is like you're kind of a serial killer who you either go with your dark urges or you go against.
Right.
And I think this might be the first time where I can actually do a bad guy playthrough because every time I replay a game, whether it's Red Dead Redemption or Mass Effect or whatever, I'm always like, I'm going to do the bad guy thing, and then I can't. There's something in me.
I just can't.
But I'm pretty sure I can this time. And they released a bunch of console mods. So I'm going to mod the shit out of it or just do story and just kind of, because I spent so much, it's an embarrassing amount of time playing that game over months, but it's probably the most time I put into a game. And this is a game, a lot of times when you play an open world game, a ton of the time is played grinding up your levels or getting gear or whatever. This was all story.
Nice.
And absolutely, when I was done, I was just put the controller down and just stepped away and thought
stared
about
off into space for a while. And
I got a great ending. And it really, the role play, you role play. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like another game where it's just so immersive. Great. Cannot recommend it enough. Game of the year for last year.
Nice.
Top 5, maybe even top 2 or 3.
Nice.
Love the game more than anything. Finished it finally. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just take some time off because when I finish an epic game like that, whether it's Red Dead or whatever, it's hard to get into something else because you've just been so immersed in that world for so long.
Right.
So I ended up getting Dragon's Dogma 2 on sale and started playing that. And it is kind of the opposite of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
It's still a big, epic RPG, but it's janky and weird. But it is really fun to play.
Yeah.
The combat is great. The leveling up is great. All of the things that I thought that I would hate about it, the restricted fast travel, no horses.
Right.
You know, you got to earn your fast travel by, stuff.
Yeah,
If you die, you die. There's only one save thing. All these things that I thought I would hate, I actually like.
Nice.
And it makes it a very different playing experience. And that's kind of what I'm looking for these days. Is I'm looking for something that's going to challenge me, but still be really fun.
Yeah.
But makes me kind of get out of my comfort zone in terms of how I play games. Like Baldur's Gate was kind of a revelation to me because I had to completely relearn how to play an RPG to play this RPG.
Right.
And the residue of that has carried over to Dogma, and I'm playing that in a different way and really enjoying it and having a blast. And, to the point where I was like up until a couple of 2 a.m.ers.
Yeah.
I'll just do, it's one of those one more mission games, one more mission, and then that mission turns into whatever, and then you hate yourself. But I know it's a kind of a controversial game. It's kind of a love it or hate it. I did buy it at launch and send it back, or cancel the pre-order because of the microtransactions.
Yeah.
But all the microtransactions, everything you can find in the game, you don't need to do any of that stuff.
Right.
It's not pay to win. And it's been on sale for Black Friday. It's like $39 or something. Definitely worth it. It's a really fun game. There's tons of different ways to play it. And I'm really having a lot more fun than I thought I would with this.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. I played a little bit of the first one, so it was almost a little too Japanese for me.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't seem like that. It seems a lot more palatable in that regard.
It is, and it's a lot more kind of old school early 2000s RPG where they didn't hold your hand and you kind of had to figure stuff out for yourself.
Yeah.
There's not quest marker. I mean, there's markers like here, go here.
Yeah.
But to get this quest, there's not like
you gotta find it.
Somebody will be like, "Hey," and then you'll go talk to them, and then they'll get something going.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll talk to somebody, and it seemed like an innocuous nothing conversation, and then 2 hours later, you'll run into somebody and be like, "Oh, you talked to that guy, blah blah blah," and then something will start, which is fun.
That's kind of Red Dead was a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you see somebody on the road, and suddenly you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this thing."
Right.
Yeah.
And then and the combat is great. So yeah, I wholly recommend it.
Cool.
I put a lot of time into it, and it's really fun. And the one thing that I love about it is they have this pawn system where you not only create your own character, but you create your buddy, your pawn.
Yeah.
The person.
Companion.
Yes, companion. And so what's really fun is other players can hire your pawn.
Right.
And so if they take your pawn and your pawn does all the stuff, your pawn remembers all that stuff.
That's cool. Yeah.
So when it comes back, it'll be like, "Master, in another thing on the realm, there was a treasure chest over here. Should I bring you to it?" Or, "Master, there's, so it'll be like, or they'll be like, "I found a shortcut." And so you'll follow this person. There was this one bit where to sneak into this area that you aren't supposed to be in until much later in the game, you have to go through these catacombs, and they're super confusing.
Yeah.
But because I have a pawn that somebody went through, they knew exactly
where
the
to go.
route, and we just
that's
jammed
clever.
through it.
That's really
super clever.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And then you can hire, and then you hire other people's pawns, and then their pawns don't level up with your pawns, so you ultimately are going to have to get rid of them and get higher level pawns. And it's sad because you get used to these other people's things, and then you can give them gifts.
Yeah.
So you can give them anything out of your inventory. It would always just chaps my hide is like somebody will give you like a leaf. It's like, some BS that's like, really, dude, you couldn't even
twig.
Yeah. And it's like, I loved it. But here's your twig. But I've had people give like money or something really nice. It's very cool to come back into the game and have it, everything stops and your pawn is like, hey, it was gone. And then all the things come up.
That is the kind of multiplayer that I appreciate because I don't actually have to play with a person
at all. Yeah,
it's just use my stuff. I'll use your stuff.
Yeah,
come back and then do your own single player thing.
And everybody benefits from it. And it's just such a clever mechanic that adds so much more to a game, and it lends itself so well because it's a game that doesn't hold your hand at all.
Right.
So with these little extra tidbits from the pawns, it really helps kind of make the game an easier play.
Cool.
So, it's on sale. It's definitely worth it. If you want to wait till next year, it'll probably be on $20 or $30 by spring. But
it might. I mean, today it might be on a huge Black Friday sale today. Who knows?
From what I know, it's staying at $39 on Amazon and I think $38 on the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
And it is definitely worth that.
Okay.
It is definitely worth that much.
I think I decided that today. Though I've had it for a little while. Around the time you bought Dragon's Dogma 2, I bought Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I'm so excited!
Which is it was only like $25 on Amazon.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it still is right now, but I think I'm gonna put it in today and give it a shot and just see where it goes. I haven't played a Final Fantasy game forever, even though I've had 15 for at least 2 years.
15 is such a weird game, but it's flawed. But I loved it. The thing about Final Fantasy 15 is they never finished it. It's not a finished game, and it's like there's whole chunks of the world that there was supposed to be stuff.
Oh, and there's not.
But there's not.
Oh, okay.
But I played the demo for 16, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's a lot more straightforward. It's not so much finding tons of loot and all that stuff.
Right.
But from what I've heard, the story is like an incredible kind of Game of Thrones type of deal.
Okay.
I don't think it's open world. It's like open hubs.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of looking forward to something with a little more structure. After Baldur's Gate, the exhaustion of, so many choices.
Right.
It'd be nice to play something that kind of...
because I have been playing the PS5 update of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played.
It looks amazing.
It looks so good. I loved this game. I loved the story of this game. I loved the gameplay. I loved everything on the PS4. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
The upgrade is great. I realized last night I was playing it, and I'm up to like level 32, and I was like, oh, I should probably do some story. And then I realized the story is like right now rated at like level 14. And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. Part of the reason I wanted to replay it was because I have the Forbidden West, and I just could not get into it.
I was thinking about that too, because I've been playing it as well, and I've played a lot of it, but it's just not... There's just too... It's bloat. It's the bloat of RPGs that kind of... It's suffering from that bloat, because... When there's too much to do, you kind of, at least for me, I start doing side stuff, and I just get kind of lost. I forget what's going on. I forget what I'm supposed to do, and it just doesn't seem as clear as the first. Replaying the first, it feels a lot more straightforward.
Yeah. And the second, maybe it was just the story and the way it was set up, and like not starting the story right.
Well, maybe you'll enjoy it more coming right out of
I think
first.
So. But the cool thing with the PS5 update is that it comes with the DLC.
Yeah.
If you've not played the Frozen Wilds, which is funny because I had it, but it didn't come out until after I finished the game.
Right.
And then, of course, when I was like going to play it, they were like, oh, okay, technically the ending didn't happen, so go back and do this and then do the ending again. And I was so annoyed that I just didn't do it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do the ending again, but
I know, but I wanted it to be part of the story,
right?
And it's there, and I'm ready to go do it. So but it's worth it. It's $10, a $10 upgrade.
Yeah.
It is so worth it.
Oh yeah,
it is so beautiful. It is such a good game. The game flows so well. It has the same kind of like feel of RDR2.
Yeah.
Like that, just like everything feels right when you're playing it.
And it's a very rich open world, beautiful open world with a lot going on.
It's really great.
And 2 was really good too. I just think it's also you got to be in the mood for that type of thing.
Yeah. I'm hoping that redoing the game will get me more into Forbidden West. So
yeah. Well, speaking of updates, they just sneakily, strangely, popped in a 60 frames 4K upgrade for Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Oh, so weird.
Which is a super old game.
Yeah.
It's probably my second favorite Assassin's Creed game.
It's so
I
good.
love the weirdo Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Like the Black Flag is
Black
my
Flag's
favorite
good.
of them all.
Yeah.
It's the best pirate game ever made. And Syndicate takes place in 19th century England.
Yeah.
And there's two characters, they're brother and sister. You got this train you ride. It's just got this really cool vibe.
It's kind of steampunky a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like 1890s, 1880s, 1890s.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a really great game.
And I got to say, it looks amazing. And the 60 frames, it is smooth as butter.
Is this like a free upgrade? Like it's just okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'll update automatically if you got it on your thing. And it's still
I'll have to
PS4. It's not
download
PS5.
Yeah.
But it breathes
gorgeous. Yeah.
new life into the game. Makes me want to play it again.
Yeah.
Or at least finish it, because I don't even know if I ever finished it.
Oh, it's so good. The story's good.
And they also did an update for Star Wars Outlaws.
Right.
Which I really enjoyed. I'm mostly finished with that game. I'm going to jump back in the next couple of days just to see how the new stuff feels, because there's a whole bunch of fixes, quality of life improvements.
The biggest one that I saw, and what makes me more excited to play it again, is that stealth won't be required.
Right.
If, much like in real life, if you're doing stealth and you get caught, you got to shoot your way out.
Yeah, and that seems more akin to this type of scoundrel gameplay anyway.
It feels so much more Star Wars to
me.
Especially
if you're playing an outlaw or a scoundrel, it's all improvisation.
Yeah, you just got to go with it.
Han Solo didn't know he didn't plan anything out. He went by the seat of his pants.
Yeah, exactly.
I also really enjoyed the game. I didn't have as many problems as other people did.
Yeah.
I explained the problems on the last show, so if you want to listen to that. But I want to try it out just to see how different it is and maybe finish it up.
I'm excited to get through it.
Yeah.
Now with all the updates. Yeah.
They also released the first DLC pack, which looks fun. It's a Lando Calrissian heavy Sabacc tournament kind of thing.
Okay.
And
that's cool. Sabacc's so much fun in that game.
Yeah. I love... One of my favorite parts of RPGs are those games, like the mini games. Gwent and Witcher.
Gwent, yeah.
That game in Assassin's Creed
Valhalla. They're so much fun.
Forget the name.
It had a weird name.
But all these little card games or dice games, those mini games. Oh, baby, I love them so much.
I got so into Gwent.
Yeah, me too. What's so funny is my first playthrough of The Witcher, I hated Gwent. I didn't really get it, and I didn't want to take the time to get it.
Right.
But on my second playthrough, it became my obsession because I finally got it, and I couldn't lose. I was so good. Oh man, I got so good at Gwent. It makes me want to play it now. But yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And then we got a couple of indie picks.
Yes. There was an indie game that I haven't actually played yet, but I saw it and it was super cheap on sale. Mille Noir. It's like a side scroller pixel game.
I did play it.
Yes, I know.
We both picked it up because it was like $1.29 or something.
I think it was 99 cents, to be honest.
This is the thing. If you have a PS, a PlayStation 4 or 5, and check the sales.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be stuff that's like $1 or $1.50. They'll take 90% off some weird game.
Yeah.
Like I picked up Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals for like $3.
Yeah.
And that's a $20 game. I love the first one. I can't wait to play it. It's so funny. I keep picking up these games for no money and then being like, ow, what's this? But Mille Noir is a pixel side-scroller action game. Takes place in the 70s. And it's like an Italian 70s exploitation movie.
Nice.
The music is awesome.
Yeah.
The controls are a little weird to get used to, the shooting and moving.
Okay.
It's still like, even when I get it, it's still kind of not.
Yeah.
It's not very intuitive.
Okay.
It just keeps a little counterintuitive, so it's hard to do. But it's just kind of goofy fun. You got 20 minutes to play a game. It's a great game to jump in.
Yeah. The other indie game that I found, which is on sale for $2.99 right now, I think it's 80 or 90% off.
Yeah.
It's called Lacuna.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi noir game, also pixel game, side scroller, but the most unique side scroller pixel game I think I've ever played.
Very unique. Yeah, I played just a touch of it yesterday.
I got sucked into it pretty hard. I think I played like 4 hours yesterday, or 3 hours. But
Nice.
but it's good. It's so good. The weird sci-fi worlds are set up really well. But essentially, you're a detective trying to figure out. There's an ambassador from another planet that comes over and then gets assassinated, and you're trying to figure out who it is. But you have this like investigation system. You have like an iPad type thing that you get stuff on. Like you have to figure out, you find clues to figure out how to submit things. But the cool thing about it is that there's no right or wrong.
Right.
Like either as soon as you do it, you make that choice, you literally can't go back.
Yeah.
That's it. Like either you got it right or wrong, or the story revolves or evolves around you and how that plays out. Because there's choices you can make, whether you be like pro this other planet or anti this other planet or whatever. But
it's essentially role playing.
Yeah, it's really fun. And the music is fantastic. It looks great. There's great moments where like you can buy cigarettes and either have him try to make him stop smoking or make him smoke more, and you like have a balcony outside of your apartment. You can go out, and then it just goes to this beautiful like cutscene of you just smoking, like looking at the city. Like it was just so surprising. It was like, okay. But and there's certain places you can do that around, like in a park and all this stuff to get different. Like it's really pretty. It's just a very pretty game.
I can't wait to get into it. These are the kind of fun, kind of late night jump in.
Yes.
Play for a couple hours with your headphones on.
Yes.
And we love the indie games, and we try to get a couple of indies every month just to support them. And the beauty is some of the best indies, they'll go on sale for $1, $2, $3 max.
Yeah.
Less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then you got a great game to throw into your library, and then when you're in the mood, it's a rainy day, and you feel like playing some noirish pixel art game.
Yeah, my system, the way I set it up is that I see something that looks interesting, I'll always go on and look at reviews.
Yeah.
Like Lacuna was averaging like 4.5 out of 5.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, okay, like this seems like it's going to be good. It's borne out that way pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, and the story is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's weird, but it's really interesting.
It's like Sally Face. They're just telling really great narratives in very unique ways. And I think the challenge of not having these big budgets and having to tell them in either pixel art or, not the best graphics or whatever, the challenge of that, that's why these games are so good, is because they have to work so much harder.
Right.
Because you can't have, an 8-bit game with a weak story because people are just like, it's already, 8-bit.
Yeah,
So.
It very much reminds me of Blade Runner because and although I'm not a huge fan of voiceover, the only dialogue is internal monologue from the main character, who will sometimes randomly start talking to himself, and it's good voiceover. It just works really well. I'm very excited to get through it and see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Very cool. Well, anything else?
No, that's it. That's what I've been playing. I'm excited to try Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
It's always good to get out of your wheelhouse, because then you're going to find something that you wouldn't have.
That's very true. And I that's where I'm going into it, that mindset of, because I am very interested in playing like D&D, but I don't. The people I would have played D&D with have left the state.
Yes,
so
because that's how much they didn't want to play with you. They moved to Alabama.
But I'm excited to try it. So
so our picks for the month. So movies, I guess the only one that we saw together would be Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. It's fun. I'm actually, the more we talk about it, the more I kind of want to watch it again. But
I guess my big pick would be Watchmen Part 1.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. And and maybe Fall Guy after that, because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And for you, movie?
Deadpool and Wolverine. I definitely, it did get me excited about Marvel stuff again. So I mean, there's that.
And Hugh Jackman was brilliant.
He's so good. Brilliant. He's always so good.
You forget. I mean, he is such a consummate performer, a singer, a dancer. Just one of the last, just all around.
Yeah.
Just performers. Just an amazing performer. So TV, without any of the old stuff coming back, my picks would be A Man on the Inside and Interior Chinatown.
Yeah.
Both brilliant, and Interior Chinatown is just so unique.
Yeah. Definitely Silo for me. Definitely watch Silo. It's so good. Apple TV Plus. And then if you haven't seen it yet, since it's on Netflix now, Escape at Dannemora. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then for games, it's on sale. I'd say pick up Dragon's Dogma because it's just a fun jump in, kill some monsters.
Yeah.
A lot of monsters to kill. And it's got long battles that aren't excruciating. I can't do the Souls where you're battling the same guy for 4 hours.
Yeah, no.
Not like that. It's more about utilizing your powers rather than just a slog and dodging. So I would say pick that up on sale. Definitely get Baldur's Gate on sale or not on sale. That's a game that will give you hundreds and hundreds of hours of enjoyment.
Yeah, totally.
Tons of playthroughs. And then I would say my indie picks would be Lacuna and Mille Noir, which I don't know if Mille Noir is still on sale.
It might not be, but Lacuna definitely is because it was part of the Black Friday sales.
Put them on your wish list. They're going to get down to a couple of bucks.
If they're not still on sale, they will definitely be on sale again.
And always, always, always try to support your indies, whether it's music or movies or games.
Yeah.
Because we need them.
Exactly. And definitely if you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, I recommend it. It's so much fun. Such a good story.
Definitely worth the $10 upgrade. It really is a good remaster. It's not just a new coat of paint.
They really, really took the time to make it better.
Yeah.
And it was good before, so I mean, there you go.
Yeah, and our big old... Then get yourself a little Mad World.
Yeah.
Watch that with your friends. Make a night of it. Have a 5-course meal.
Yeah, and then follow it up with Cannonball Run when you're nice and toasty.
Yeah. And then when you're hungover the next day, you can watch Scavenger Hunt and Flying Machines.
Flying Machines.
You don't need to pay attention to it.
We'll be back next week. We're starting our Christmas month. Are they Christmas movies?
Is it a Christmas movie?
The sequel.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm very excited about this. There's some movies I have not seen in a long time.
It's so funny that it is it a Christmas movie too? And 2 of them are sequels.
Yeah,
so,
and technically, I mean, one of them is a sequel, but it's like a 4th movie or 3rd movie.
They're all sequels.
They're all technically sequels. Yeah.
So we're starting off next week with Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. And then we're going to go to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite Christmas comedies. And then Home Alone 2.
There you go.
I don't think I've seen since it came out.
Yeah, me too. I just remember the pigeon lady.
Oh, yeah, the pigeon lady.
She was great.
Well, we'll talk about her.
Good actor, too.
She's good.
Can't forget her name.
She's been in a ton of stuff. We'll talk about
I just said I can't forget her name. But,
can't forget her name.
I did.
But I have.
Well, I hope everybody's bellies are full and had a wonderful time and not too many arguments yesterday.
Yeah.
And stay away from them Black Friday sales and just wiggle into a little bit of TV or something. Gobble, gobble. It's basically a minor character in an SUV-type police procedural.
SVU type?
What did I say?
SUV. Okay, yeah. He's traveling around in an SUV.
So
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Cops, already in progress.